everyone. It's another episode of Tay and Nin Talk. We're bringing you an extra special episode today. It's called the Chewy We're Home edition. Nothing's actually different. We just started off with a Chewy We're Home.
Yeah. We're going to be talking a lot of interesting things today. We're going to talk about the Batman Superman trailer, the Star Wars trailer, of course. We're going to review Imitation Game, The Hobbit, and A Most Violent Year.
Hobbit 3.
Hobbit 3.
And A Most Violent Year.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk about...
We're going to have some extra special surprise stuff at the end. A little bit of flavor.
Okay.
So let's start off with the Star Wars trailer, since that's what we started off the video with, a soundbite. What were your thoughts on the trailer, Nin?
It got me super excited. I just thought it was awesome. I don't know where to start.
Okay, well, it started off, I watched it on like a leak or something. Somebody posted it in a comments section like right away when it came out. Because I had been watching the live stream, and then as soon as they were about to play the trailer, they cut off the live stream, and I was like rage attacking because I wanted to watch it so bad. But then luckily somebody posted it in the comments section, so I watched it. And I didn't expect it to be as good as it actually was. And then right at the end, when Han Solo and Chewie came up, I was just like running around. I was looking for Nin and I was running around the house looking for Nin to tell him to watch it.
Yeah, and I didn't want to watch it.
Luckily, I convinced Nin to watch it, and the best part about it is it spoils nothing. It only raises questions about what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was worried it was going to show too much, but it definitely didn't. I was glad I watched it.
A lot of quick cuts that just make you think instead of like showing everything.
Yeah, they show off the new characters, but you don't know who they are.
Yeah, we still know nothing about them. I mean, it looks like Boyega is going to be a stormtrooper, but...
Well, I mean, he's wearing a stormtrooper.
Yeah,
outfit.
so... Yeah, haha.
Then there's the random girl. I don't know anything about her.
Yeah, I think one of the... You know, the narration implies that one of the people will be Luke Skywalker's child. Somebody in the... Don't you think? Because he says
Probably,
you
yeah.
have this power, so doesn't that...
Yeah.
And then the bad guy looks pretty cool. They showed him swinging his saber, but it was so fast. I wish I could watch that in slow-mo so I could actually tell what happened.
Yeah, he looks cool.
Yeah,
what if he's another like Darth Maul situation? Like he doesn't do anything except be cool, but everyone still loves him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the really cool lightsaber.
I'd take another Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Hopefully he's as cool as Darth Maul.
Yeah, and then oh man, just overall though, the thing I wanted to do the most was just see Han and Chewie. That was that put it on another level.
And the thing is, me and Tay aren't even like big Star Wars fans. We like it, but we're not like...
I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Well, we're not like super Star Wars nerd guys.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we're not like nerds, but...
Seeing like Chewie and Han, it was just...
Yeah. After I watched the trailer, that same day I went out and bought the original trilogy on Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah.
So, it really hyped me up for the movie. And I can't wait till Christmas Day.
Yeah. It's probably going to be one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah, I definitely think it will be. So, and the practical effects look really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the one shot that you have of the ship shooting in the hangar at all the stormtroopers and stuff, that looked like it was a CG ship, but then everything else that was blowing up was all real. That looked pretty cool. And then another thing I wanted to mention was the droid, the ball rolling droid BB-8. He's practical. Did you see that video, Nin, from the celebration on stage when they brought out the droids?
They brought out the actual droid?
They brought out BB-8 and R2-D2, and I was surprised. He's actually real.
Yeah. He's
a round ball, and he spins, and he moves around, and it's actually real.
How does he not fall over?
I don't know. He has like a gyroscope or something.
That's so sick.
I know. It's really cool. But I doubt that in that original trailer that he was, like, he looked CG in that one.
Dude, that's totally a move for Christmas. They're going to make a remote-controlled BB-8.
Oh, you know they will. That's so true.
Yeah. It's still awesome, though.
Mm-hmm. All right, but, so, it looks good. There's nothing you can say. That was just, like, the perfect trailer. There's no negatives in that one.
Yeah, that one took the world by storm.
Mm-hmm. And then...
Trooper.
then later, was it later that same day? There's a leaked trailer of the Batman vs Superman, and it was like a Spanish one, a super blurry, and it leaked to all the pirate sites. And I couldn't find it on any of the websites because it was all getting pulled down. But then eventually they just released it officially. They must have figured might as well watch it in HD instead.
Might not have been the best time with the Star Wars trailer. Everyone was super psyched. It was Star Wars Day and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they released the Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited for that, but...
They probably didn't want to release it on that day, but I think it's okay, because I think everybody that's... At least they have trailers on the mind. They're like, oh, the Star Wars trailer, I gotta watch that. And then the Batman vs. Superman trailer is also released, so they might as well watch that one too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you care anything about movies, you're gonna watch both. It's not like you have to pay to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Let's talk a little about the Batman Superman trailer. What did you think about that one?
My initial reaction, meh.
Meh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, actually, my initial reaction was awesome. Like, this is awesome. But then I watched it like 5 more times, and then I was like, meh.
Well, what made you say that it was meh?
I don't like the tone. It doesn't look fun. And it looks like a typical Zack Snyder movie, kind of like Man of Steel.
I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you on that one. It does look like for Man of Steel, they sold the movie by saying this is gonna be a Christopher Nolan movie. Remember that? This trailer made you think it was gonna be a Christopher Nolan movie, with the style and tone. It ended up being extremely dark and a Zack Snyder movie. This one looks like a Zack Snyder movie, but it looks like it's gonna be one of his best movies. It doesn't sell that it's a Christopher Nolan movie. It sells that it's a Zack Snyder movie. And they brought on a new writer, and they had a lot of great monologues, and they all sounded really interesting in it. They had Lex Luthor do his monologue with a cool line, and the Butler. Okay, if the Butler has good lines like that again, come on, that's gonna be awesome. And the first picture of Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, that looked really interesting. It didn't look like he was Ben Affleck. It looked like he was
he had a different hairstyle. He looked super serious.
Yeah.
I've never seen his face like that.
Yeah, that was interesting. And then I think this one will have the best storyline. This one will have a way better storyline than Man of Steel. This one is all about how, at least as far as I can tell, how they don't want Superman, or they do want him. There's a big, huge debate. Should we get rid of him? And I think it all stems from the Battle of Metropolis that destroyed all the buildings. Everybody's like either worshipping him or denouncing him because of those things he did in Man of Steel. And I think Batman is going to think that Superman deserves to be off the planet, and then they're going to have a huge brawl, and then they're going to realize that Lex Luthor is the real bad guy, and they're going to team up.
Well, I mean, I definitely think the story looks interesting. That's definitely the best part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem for me is that it looks like no fun. You know, it's like when you think of a Batman and Superman movie, your first thought isn't going to be, it's going to be a really dark movie where they fight each other.
Yeah, but what about 300 or The Dark Knight? They're not fun, but they're still great movies.
300 is pretty fun.
How is it fun? It's all epic.
Yeah, epic is fun.
Epic can be different than fun.
Epic is fun for me.
Well, I think if it's epic, it will be fun.
Yeah, but it looked dark.
Yeah, it did look dark. We just watched it a few minutes ago, and I thought it kind of looked almost like a horror movie, with the music and the different things.
Yeah, horrible.
No, I thought
it wasn't horrible.
I think it actually hyped me up for the movie, and I thought it was a great trailer. And another thing was, this is looking more and more like a direct adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. The storyline and everything, you know? Mm-hmm. And although in that one, Superman was working for the government to take down Batman. I wonder if it's in this one, Batman will be with the government. He'll probably team up with Lex to take down Superman. Because the debate will be about Superman. And then Lex will meet Bruce Wayne. And at first, Bruce Wayne will agree with Lex. And then Batman will try and take Superman down. But then they'll realize that Lex is the real bad guy, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you think they're going to fit Wonder Woman and Aquaman in there? That doesn't seem like they fit in the storyline at all.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll just be a 2-second sneak peek.
You think it'll just be a cameo, maybe?
On the screen it'll say, huge tidal wave hits.
But why would they show him in costume and have posters with them if they're not going to be in the movie that much?
It's
they'll probably be main aspects of the movie.
Maybe that trailer, it set it up to get people talking. It's really weird, but the movie's actually not going to be like that.
I don't know. It definitely conveyed the plot, I think. I don't know. I think it was a great trailer. I think the main reason that trailer may not seem as good is because it has a completely different tone than Star Wars.
Yeah.
And the Star Wars one was so great. So therefore, it seems like the Batman v Superman isn't as great.
Yeah, it's the effect where if you watch something really good and then watch something not as good, it seems really bad.
Yeah, I still stand by the Batman v Superman.
But remember, the classic example, the Man of Steel trailer. So good, one of the best trailers I've ever seen. And then the movie was really disappointing.
Yeah,
I think it could be another one
Man
of
of
the
Steel
situations.
is what it is. It's it's a pretty good, okay movie. But I think that it'll be better than Man of Steel for sure.
Yeah,
Next one.
maybe.
And I think this one will have some really sick Batman fighting scenes. Because if there's one thing Snyder does well, it's awesome action scenes and great visuals. Like, Watchmen, that had superheroes fighting in it. That was really cool. Watchmen was a great movie. And I think if you combine that... And Watchmen was really dark.
Yeah.
I think Watchmen was a great movie, and I think that's the most prime example that this movie's going to be good.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's going to get worse. He's got even more budget, more people helping him, more talent in this one,
But then again, I don't think Zack Snyder's ever made a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his best movie is 300.
300 is a great movie.
That's a great movie, but like he's never transcended like just a really good, fun to watch movie.
Well, I think that this one will combine the action and the story.
And
the visuals. This one could be great.
I mean, the story is good, but it's not going to be that deep. I mean, it's Batman and Superman,
Yeah, but but you could say that about Dark Knight. This is not going to be that deep. It's Batman. Batman has some of the most deep storylines of any superhero.
Yeah, but Superman's really not the deepest superhero.
But we just haven't read the best Superman stories.
There's not that many good ones.
Nah, come on. I think it'll be good.
It could be good. I'm just saying it's not going to be Dark Knight.
Well, yeah, nothing will be Dark Knight, but I think it has potential to be Zack Snyder's best movie.
Well, yeah, but
like honest potential, like not just speculative. It looks like it will be.
Well, is that all you have to say about that?
Yeah, I guess. What's next?
Imitation Game.
Yeah. So this one's out on rental now. We rented on Redbox. Why don't you give your thoughts first, and then I'll gather mine.
Well, let's see my thoughts. It's an Oscar movie.
Uh-huh.
It was everything you'd want in a biography of Alan Turing.
Mm-hmm.
He's an interesting guy. He did some really good things, and he was misunderstood in his time, so he definitely deserved a movie.
Yeah.
And Benedict Cumberbatch portrays him very well.
Yeah.
And it's probably about as good as the movie could be. It was pretty good.
Yeah. You want me? All right, I got my thoughts. Here's what I didn't like. Throughout the movie, you have entire moments of dialogue where you have a main character and they stare deeply into the camera and they give their best acting performance and they belch out their pre-written dialogue as if it's speaking directly to the audience in order to convey the message that they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're into the movie, you'll be like, oh yes, this is such a great scene. But if you're thinking about it like critic-wise, you're like, this is clearly the scriptwriters talking to the audience, not an actual film.
Yeah,
You know what I
you
mean?
mean exactly.
Yeah, there was multiple instances where they were talking directly to the audience.
Yeah, there was like one quote like, "You have to be the best you can be if you want to be the best you can be," or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like forced down your throat, like, you have to like this quote. It's so deep.
Yeah.
And they're trying to like
That's
make
the
you
problem.
love the quote.
Yeah, the best part wasn't when they were just talking directly to you. It was when you were with Alan Turing as he was trying to figure out how to build this machine. That was the most interesting part.
Yeah, like the part. It's actually the movie makers holding your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you just show everything that happens, if you want to analyze it for that stuff, you should be able to.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be forced to like bring a moral out like clearly from the movie. Like
Yeah.
Boyhood, you can just watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, they just tell you. It's
But
like
you can think about
that one's like in Boyhood, the director's telling you what he thinks. In this one, the director's telling you what you should think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's not just like the gay storyline. Like Alan Turing is gay, and in that time, it was illegal to do gay activities. So
activities.
Yeah. So they arrested him, and then he like got depressed or whatever. And so I didn't like the ending because it's really depressing. I don't know. But let's go to the positives.
The positives.
After all those negatives, I still really enjoyed the movie, and
Yeah.
I was in it throughout the whole time watching, because even though I said all those things, it's still well made.
Yeah.
The acting is top notch from all the characters involved, pretty much.
Yeah, Bendy Cumberbatch, he was so good.
Yeah, he really
The
nailed
way
the
he
part.
delivered his lines was just so good.
Mm-hmm. And what about who's the girl? What's her name?
The girl?
Yeah.
Oh, Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley. She was pretty good. I thought she was good.
She was serviceable.
It was surprisingly good, considering it's Keira Knightley. I've never seen anything good with her in it.
Yeah. Well, her acting was just average to me.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But the best part was watching him build the machine. It was really cool. Like, and the plot itself was World War II. They were trying to figure out how to crack the German codes.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Germans sent out messages over the radios or whatever every day, but they were encrypted. And so the team of people, including Turing, has to decipher the messages and figure out how to crack their code. And then he was basically the guy that invented the computer, because he built a huge machine that could crack the code and decode it every day. And so the driving force of the movie pretty much is them trying to solve the code and help them win World War II by, and then there's a few moral dilemmas throughout it, like should they do different things, and it's just interesting all the way through.
Pretty interesting. I just think they could have done it so much better. It's just pretty by the numbers.
Yeah, it was by the numbers.
Like, people are saying, like, oh, Oscar nominated, such a great movie, so moving.
Yeah.
It's definitely a little overrated in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, not that many people saw it,
It's
so...
the kind of movie where if you haven't seen any movies, you'll think it's like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But once you see, like, 5 or 6 biopics, you realize that it's just doing the same things but hitting them well. You know what I mean? So yeah, what would you give that one? Probably 7. 7. Yeah, it was really fun to watch, but you don't really need to watch it again, and there's some negatives, so I give it a 7. Yeah, all right, let's move on and be even more negative. Man, okay, so The Hobbit. I never saw the third one in theaters, Battle of the Five Armies, and this is the conclusion to the horrible trilogy. You know how they usually say the conclusion to the epic trilogy?
Yeah.
This one's the conclusion to the horrible trilogy.
Yeah, this one was a steaming dump.
It was it was $13 at Target, and I figured, well, I might as well own it. Maybe I'll like this one. And so I bought it for $13, and we all sat down and watched it, and it was just pretty much bad all the way through. Was there any good parts about it?
No.
I ended up giving it a 5 out of 10.
The only good part was that Martin Freeman was still good at being Bilbo.
Yeah.
But there wasn't that much Bilbo at all.
Martin Freeman is great as Bilbo, and you barely get to see Bilbo. Instead, they focus on extremely annoying, stupid characters. Thorin, he's such a great character, Thorin.
Yeah. They expect you to be deeply drawn into his moral dilemma of, should he be greedy?
Should he have gold disease? It's the dumbest plot. It's so dumb. And this entire story is just like, it feels intensely bloated. It feels more bloated than the extended editions of Lord of the Rings originals.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of these movies did, except the first one was good. They get progressively worse because they progressively stretch out the material more.
And it's so stretched out that this isn't really a spoiler. The first 15 minutes could have just been tacked on to the end of Desolation of Smog.
They should have shaved some of the crap off Smog and then put the first 15 minutes of this movie on Smog.
And then the rest of the third one, you don't even need to watch it.
Mm-hmm. And, okay, you've got Legolas in this one. Totally unnecessary. There to just do a bunch of ridiculous things. He's basically there to fight the other guys they made up. Those weird orcs that are CG.
Yeah, they weren't even in the book, I don't think.
Nope. And the problem with the movie is it's just not interesting. Nothing interesting happens. There's huge battles, but you don't give a rip about any of the characters, so you don't care about the battles. And another thing was, everything in this movie is horrendous blue and orange CG.
Yeah. Awful cinematography.
It looks horrible.
It looks
it's just
so bad.
So bad. And, like, this is the third movie, so we can really rail on it because we're extremely tired of the style. Like in the first one, you're like, oh, well, this is pretty fun. I mean, there's a lot of CG, but I guess it's okay. Second one, well, there's too much, but it still is pretty cool moments. The third one is just all CG and no cool moments.
Yeah, actually, each Hobbit had a cool moment in it. The first one actually had a few.
Yeah.
Like the Gollum moment, especially.
Yeah.
The second one had the smog.
Yeah.
This one has no memorable moments at all.
Yeah, I don't remember any.
Actually, one memorable, extremely negative moment was a character change in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
That was so sudden that it was like mind-blowing that they thought it was good and they actually put it in the movie.
Yeah, that was terrible. Like, one moment the character believes something so fiercely he'll die, and then the next moment he just changes his mind.
Yeah.
And then, what about that love story? Oh, that was so unnecessary. Ooh, that was a great love story. That's up there with Gone with the Wind. Actually, it's complete crap. Totally unnecessary and shoved in there.
Yeah.
This, if this was a 2-movie trilogy, everything in this third movie would be on the cutting room floor. It would have never made it to the picture.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Oh, what about that other, like, the Gabagool scene or whatever you call that?
Gabagool?
Yeah, where they go to the Sauron area and they fight those...
Oh, that was so dumb.
That was so bad.
It was like watching Gandalf, like, be so old that he can barely move.
Yeah.
And it was like...
And then when the action starts, he can, like, flip like Neo.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah, it was obviously a stunt double.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah.
I don't even remember what they were doing up there.
I don't even know either.
Gandalf was trapped on some mountain for some reason.
He went up to the mountain and then got trapped. And then why? It was...
I don't even remember. I turned my brain off during those moments because it was so boring.
Yeah.
And stupid.
And pointless. And... and then what about the great villains in this? You've got CG Play-Doh Man number 1. And then CG Play-Doh Man's son with a big faceplate. and then their epic battle against dwarf number 1, 2, and 3, which you don't even know their names after 3 movies.
And don't forget the awful comic relief guy.
Oh, blow my brains out now. that guy was so bad. Okay, so they go to the city, and there's this guy who's basically poor man's Wormtongue that's trying to be funny and he was so annoying. It was just like such a bad character, just so bad.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like this one. I bought it, and let's just say this one sucks. I gave it a 5 out of 10, meaning that it's meh/bad.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 5 too.
Mm-hmm. It's just that bad. I mean, if you're gonna get the trilogy, stick with the originals and get Hobbit 1 and maybe Desolation of Smaug.
Actually, I looked online after watching the movie, and I heard about this thing called the Tolkien edit.
Yeah.
It takes all 3 movies and makes it into one movie, and cuts out most of the stuff that people don't like about them.
Really?
So actually, I think if you've never seen any Hobbit movies, I might recommend watching that, even though I haven't seen it.
Did you watch the Tolkien edit?
I've seen a scene from it, and it was a lot better.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was a good movie underneath all the crap, but they just made it... Basically, they got greedy, and they wanted more money. That was the biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, that's sad.
Do you think Peter Jackson's still a good filmmaker, or is he just like burned out, or what? Why did he make such bad movies?
I don't know. I mean, how did he make Lord of the Rings so good?
Maybe he shot a bunch of stuff for Lord of the Rings, and it was all great, even the deleted scenes.
Yeah.
But in Hobbit, it's all bad. It's probably because Hobbit had no good source material. Lord of the Rings was super long. Each movie had a lot of material. But in Hobbit, they're like grabbing from here, scraping from there, making up something new. That's why it was bad. They didn't have enough source material,
And plus, The Lord of the Rings is an epic, fantasy, like war book.
Yeah.
And The Hobbit is a kid's book.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lord of the Rings is obviously going to have way deeper stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, Lord of the Rings has far better characters in it.
Yeah.
So the whole Hobbit trilogy was kind of screwed from the start because there was few good characters.
Yeah. They just really... They sacrificed... They could have developed each dwarf, but instead they focused entirely on Thorin, who ended up being an extremely annoying character that I didn't care about.
Yeah.
So, we should probably just move on. Don't watch Hobbit 3, and if you do, watch it for free, because it sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Finally
move
a good movie. A most violent year.
on. Yeah, we rented this one a few days ago and didn't see it in theaters, but we did want to watch it when it came out. And a most violent year. What's the storyline in this one, and how would you describe it?
It's a modern gangster film.
Modern? Well, it's set in the 80s.
Set in the 80s, but
It's not a really old one, like from the 20s or
yeah,
whatever.
it's about this guy, and he played by Oscar Isaac, and he doesn't want to be a gangster because he's trying to go straight with his business.
Yeah, well, he maintains that his business is straight. Yeah, he runs a fuel transportation business where I think, as far as I can tell, he has a bunch of trucks and then he stores the fuel in his tanks and then he rides it out to various gas stations and stuff that want to buy the gas from him.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as I can tell. And the main plot in this one is he's trying to pay off a debt so he can purchase a new holding tank area so he can like build up all his gas that he can carry around and stuff. And he tries to avoid getting in trouble because I think it's called a most violent year because it takes place in the most recorded violent year of the 80s or something. Like there was the most rapes and murders and stuff in that year.
Yeah, and there's a cop, and he's trying to find any dirt he can possibly find on this guy.
Yeah, is he like a Fed or something? I think he is.
I don't know.
Yeah, but he's trying to. He's investigating every company in the business of the fuel transportation, and they're gonna bring him to court and stuff. So there's a lot of different drama going on. It's drama and not really action, but gangster stuff.
Yeah, gangster stuff. You're gonna have a few intense scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's gonna be some themes.
Yep, there's a lot of different themes. What's the main takeaway from the movie? I don't know. It just felt like a good ride, but like it won't be super memorable.
It wasn't super memorable, but it was really well made.
Yeah, it had good quality. It was shot well, and good acting from everybody again.
Well, I didn't like Jessica Chastain's acting.
Me and Nen disagree here because Jessica Chastain is in it, and she plays his wife. And Nen thinks she was bad, and I thought she was good. And it's like totally opposite opinions. Why was she bad now?
Well, they were in New York, right? They have an accent up there, right?
It was New York, right? Was it New York?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, she was trying to pull off this accent. It just wasn't good.
You thought it was bad? Okay, yeah, me and Nen had totally different opinions. Nen was like, oh, she can't pull off that accent. And I interpreted it as she has a slight accent. Because, like, not every word was accented. Like, it wasn't over the top, but it was, like, slightly.
But during her scenes, I was too focused on her accent. I couldn't pay attention to anything else because it bothered me.
So you thought it was bad?
I mean, like, just go full out or don't. I mean,
but that's the thing now. Everybody doesn't have like a full out like accent.
They do.
No, like if you live in the South, you don't like constantly talk like a Southern hick. You
They
may
do.
have like a little drawl. You know,
oh, there's a
a
guy.
little bit, or on some words you can hear it.
No, like some guys who have the Southern accent really thick. Everything they say is Southern. It's not like they can turn it off.
Well, maybe, but then there's other people who are like, oh, are you maybe from the South? Because I think a few of the words you say sound kind of Southern.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's how I interpreted it, and I thought she was good.
But in the movie, it was distracting.
Well, you'll have to see the movie and form your own opinion on her accent. So yeah, it has a good plot, and Oscar Isaac was you said the whole time that he was channeling his inner Pacino.
Yeah, he was doing his best Pacino impression.
I didn't get a Pacino impression for him.
First off, he totally looks like him, even down to the hair and the suit and the face.
He doesn't look like Pacino. You mean like in Godfather 2?
Yeah, or one.
Or 1. Okay, here's why I think you thought that. Because the storyline is about how he's trying to make his business legitimate. I think that reminded you of Godfather 2.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Where he's trying to go legitimate. But I think he doesn't really look like Pacino or act like him in the movie.
Yeah, he does.
What does he do?
The way he
like
talks
Pacino?
is like Pacino.
How?
He has this incredibly, like, powerful, like, bossy, I don't know how.
Bossy
to say.
tone. I didn't feel any Pacino. Only in the story itself. I didn't feel like he was doing a Pacino impression.
I'm not saying it's bad. He was good at impersonating Pacino.
Oh, come on. He wasn't doing a Pacino impersonation. But whatever. So, do we recommend you see it? Yes, it's a good... If you like gangster movies, yes, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I gotta say, throughout the movie, I was like bored. Like,
really?
I was like, this isn't that good. And then some parts of the movie, it was like, oh wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's very slow, and you can't expect a lot of action, but when there is action, it's really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just right, just the right length.
And if you love a little stylized lighting, you're gonna like this.
Oh yeah, Nin kept thinking our TV had bad settings because it has like a slight orange, kind of an inside Llewyn Davis tint. It has its own tinted style.
It probably bothered me because inside Llewyn Davis also has the same actor from this movie.
Yeah, I know. So that was like,
and that one had like a white
blue.
This one was kind of
This is like a yellow orange tinge.
Yeah,
it is like kind of like
made it look like it was always morning or something.
Yeah, something like that. But there's some really great scenes in it. So if it looks like you could be interested in it, we recommend watching it.
Yeah, might as well.
What's your rating?
Well, don't buy it on Blu-ray.
It's not worth. I mean, this isn't going to be your favorite movie of all time, or it's not going to be in your top 50 either.
No.
So,
but if you have a free Redbox, I'd say that's one of the best options.
Yeah, pick that up right now. It's probably one of the better movies you could rent. So,
I gave it a 7.
7, definitely a 7.
I also gave that to Imitation Game. I wonder which one's better.
I think A Most Violent Year was more like original.
Imitation Game was more mainstream.
Yeah, Imitation Game, your average person off the street would like more.
Yeah.
But like maybe a film person would probably like A Most Violent Year more.
I think I liked Imitation Game more.
Really?
Yeah. Even though it was more mainstream, it had better Benedict Cumberbatch
They're
acting.
pretty close. And then, which was better between The Hobbit? No, just kidding. Yeah, alright. Well, so I think we should mention just real quick. So that's our review. We both gave it 7.
Yeah.
And now I want to move on. I hit my 1,000th movie ever watched the other day. It was Imitation Game. Number 1,000. So I'm in the 1G club. Nin is still lagging behind. But,
whatever, you're 3 years older than me.
Yeah, you keep making that excuse. But, so I wanted to share in a special segment, after 1,000, I want to share you my 10 favorite movies.
Yeah, I mean, after 1,000, you have to have some movies you like. I mean, unless you're just watching it for...
Yeah, just watching
you're
it.
a masochist or something.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to share my 10 favorites. Now, keep in mind, this is not the 10 best, and this isn't even a combination of best and favorite. This is my pure 10 favorite movies.
Yeah, I mean, one of Tay's favorites is, like, I don't know.
Okay, we're going to see. So, I'll share mine, and then Nin can give me my reaction and what he thinks of each one.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and this is in no particular order. So, alright, number something. The Matrix. I'm going to start with the obvious ones.
Of course.
One of my favorite movies of all time, of course. Mentioned a few times. It's a 10 out of 10, one of my favorite movies. And I just love every action scene. So
yeah, it's got every aspect, even a little nostalgia in there because we watched it as kids.
Yeah, we watched it pretty young.
But of course we've seen it recently, and it's still one
holds
of the best
up
movies
completely.
ever.
Yeah, the effects still hold up almost 100% completely, aside from some CG, but it's not in it very much. So that's why that's one of my favorites. And while we're on the subject of action, I've mentioned this before, so I'll get this one out of the way too as well. T2 Judgment Day is one of my favorites.
Of course.
With Arnold, and I'd say that one and Matrix are up there at 1 and 2 at best action movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You can decide for yourself which one I think is best, but they're two of my favorites. And then, let's see. Let's go something. Jaws is another one of my favorites. That's my third one I'm going to mention. And the reason it's one of my favorites is because I watched it so many times on TV as a kid, and I watched it again, and it just has so many memorable scenes and lines in it.
Yeah.
And another standout is it's in the genre of horror, which usually is one of the worst genres on the planet. And so when you can be a good horror movie, that really stands out above the rest.
And it also has that Spielberg magic. Like, when Shaw's telling his story in the boat.
Oh.
It's like magical almost.
Yeah. It's like, that's one of the best scenes or whatever in history because you can remember it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the shark is so good, and the ending, and
Yeah.
and it's endlessly rewatchable. You can watch it all the time when it's on TV. It comes on, you watch it again. So Jaws is one of my favorites. And then let's move to something. Me and then watch this. This is a pure nostalgia pick. Spider-Man, not the new crappy one. Not the crappy ones that are out in like 2012 and whatever. Those ones are not good. But the original Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire is one of my favorites.
That takes some balls to put that in your top 10.
No, it's because I like it so much because when we watched it, we had this on VHS and we watched it pretty much every day. And when we were little, we can quote lines from the entire movie. Everybody's got this movie where they can quote every line. Mm-hmm. And I love Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. He's ridiculously over the top, yet super awesome. And it has that great fight scene at the end. Is really brutal.
JJJ.
J. Jonah Jameson. Oh, so good. And he totally nailed the comic character and just made it perfectly. The script was great. And Tobey Maguire, you could say he wasn't that good. I still like him as Peter and Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, I love Tobey Maguire.
I know. There's people who say, oh, he's terrible and Andrew Garfield played him way better. But, I mean, to me, Tobey just has a special spot in my heart because he was so good.
Yeah, but that's probably nostalgia.
It's completely nostalgia. If I'm gonna give it a rating, I'd say like 7. But it's one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
What else? Dark Knight is on my list, of course. I picked that one just because it's the best of the Batman trilogy, and it's the one I want to watch the most over and over. And it has the best villain.
Yeah.
So that one's on the list. I don't really need to say much. Everybody knows Dark Knight is a great movie. I put The Godfather on my list. I was debating whether or not this qualified because I've only seen it like once or twice. Once, I think. Mm-hmm. But I decided it was one of my favorites because I love Marlon Brando and that's his best performance, I think.
I disagree, but continue.
Okay. Yeah. And it's my favorite because it's so long yet so good. There's it relies purely on the dialogue and the drama of the storyline, which is... Well, unlike the other ones, which rely on action and nostalgia, this one just relies on the pure drama.
I love how you're giving a mini review of The Godfather.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you probably know that's a good movie.
Oh, I don't know if I should watch The Godfather. I think I'll ask Taylor Kubis.
Yeah, if you don't think my recommendation is solid enough to see The Godfather, just look for like anybody else in the world.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's a good one. And then Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorites.
That's your top 10.
I decided because of Morgan Freeman's narration and the great storyline, and it just feels fresh and original, and it's a great movie. That's one of my
I didn't expect that one.
Yeah, I was like grasping at straws because I wasn't sure if it was like one of my favorites of all time or not, but I decided to put it on the list. Maybe I take that one off and put Toy Story on the list. I'm not sure. And then I'm gonna put Lord of the Rings: Return of the King on my list.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I think Fellowship's my fave.
You like Fellowship better than Return of the King?
Return of the King is just not as rewatchable.
It isn't?
No. It's the third one. The first one you can watch a million times.
Yeah, we have watched the first one more than the
like
third
the start of an epic
I think
journey.
The third one is just the best one. So, anyhow, that one's on the list. And then maybe this one will surprise you, The Incredibles.
Yeah.
That one's another one of my favorites. It seems like I have a type. It's like a superhero movie or an action movie, or both.
Yeah, that list is pretty biased.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, this is my favorites list. This isn't the best list. Incredibles is a great movie, and what I like is it's like Pixar, so it's really original, and everything in it feels original, but it's ripped from the best of comics. Like, it's got elements of Watchmen and Fantastic Four and like other teams of superheroes and stuff. And it's all combined to make... And we rewatched this one so many times. And every time it's on TV, you can watch it because the score reels you in. Like, the soundtrack. Yeah. And just the storyline. And the visuals are so cool in that one. And I just love Incredibles. And I think that's all of them. Oh, actually, one more. The Great Escape. Mm-hmm. I had to put at least one old movie in my favorites list. Yeah. That's got to be one of my favorite old movies of all time. And so...
Only one old movie?
Yeah, only one old movie.
Jaws is pretty old.
I guess Jaws
Kind of
counts kind of, but yeah, I had to put at least one old movie on there. Great Escape is definitely just so entertaining.
Yeah, I thought you would put The Sting over The Great Escape.
I had The Sting on my list, but I feel like I don't really remember it. I don't remember anything really from it, but I remember almost every scene from The Great Escape.
Yeah.
So
The Sting's plot is pretty hard to figure out when you watch it.
yeah, you can't. I don't think you could watch that one time and fully understand it.
You gotta watch it a few more times.
Yeah, The Sting is definitely a classic, but I didn't put it on my favorites list. So yeah, what do you think? What's one of your favorites now?
Hey, let me look at it.
Okay.
I gotta figure out all the biases. So you're a 21-year-old male. Okay, of course. Terminator 2 and The Matrix. And The Dark Knight. So biased. You're fitting right into the stereotype.
Oh really?
And Spider-Man, really? Over Citizen Kane?
No, but Citizen Kane, I watched it one time so far, and I didn't think it was that great. Well, I mean,
the only non-biased one on here is The Great Escape, because that one didn't come out anywhere near where you were.
That's the thing, though. I was completely honest. I didn't say, well, I mean, I would give Citizen Kane like a 9 out of 10 for a rating, but it's definitely not on my favorites list. Yeah. Like, it's a 7 out of 10 on my favorites list, but a 9 out of 10 for quality.
I bet you're just riding the mainstreamness of Shawshank because it's number 1 on the top 250.
How? What? No.
You probably wouldn't even like it if it wasn't number 1.
Oh, come on. Okay, maybe you're playing devil's advocate. What about Toy Story?
Toy Story?
Maybe if I should add Toy Story instead, because that one definitely is one of my childhood favorites.
You probably like Toy Story more than Shawshank.
You think?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You better make some changes to that.
Well, okay. Anyway, so that's after 1,000. We'll catch up after I get to 2,000. After I get to 2,000, we'll see.
Or until I get to 1,000.
Yeah.
And then you can watch the superior.
How many have you seen so far then?
Like 7. A little over 700.
700?
Like 720-ish.
Yeah, not bad. You're a little behind, but... Alright,
well... Still got a few to see.
Got anything else interesting we should talk about?
I guess we can spew our thoughts about Harry Potter.
Yeah, we recently finished the entire Harry Potter series. We watched... since the last episode, we watched the last 2 movies.
Yeah.
Part 1 and 2.
Of Deathly Hallows.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think, Nan? Was not like a mega fan of part 1, and I thought part 2 was really great.
I was actually a big fan of part 1.
Really?
I think that's my favorite Harry Potter film.
You thought Deathly Hallows part 1 was the best?
Well, it's the best one.
Really? So I thought it was a lot of build up though. Like there was a lot of nothing happening in that one.
That's why I like it.
Really?
Because like pretty much every Harry Potter movie before it had a formula of like coming back to the school, and then there's the build-up, the mystery, and then the ending, the big reveal.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the first one where there was no school. They just go on this world-spanning...
Well, that wasn't the first one that did that. I mean...
Yeah, it was.
What about, like, the Deathly one before that one? Where Dumbledore eats it.
No, they were at the school still the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
They were just traveling the globe. It was awesome. It was darker... because they were all grown up.
Yeah, it was pretty... But I just think you can't beat, like, the final battle and, like, all the epicness of the last one.
Yeah, I don't know. The last one...
The only thing I didn't like from the last one was how they killed Voldemort or whatever. It was just like, oh, so they have a battle, and then they chop him or whatever with a sword. Then they kill his last Horcrux or whatever. And then he just, like, disintegrated.
Yeah, he disintegrated.
That was kind of lame, I thought.
Could have been better.
It could have been executed better. And then also I felt like, remember the scene where Harry Potter he gets killed and then he like goes to the funny part is Harry Potter is exactly like Matrix Revolutions. It totally is like Matrix Revolutions. When he dies, he goes down to the subway zone. Yeah. And then he like has to comes back to life, and then Agent Smith, the only way he can kill Agent Smith is if he dies himself, just like at the end of Matrix 3.
And then he suddenly revives himself.
And it's funny how everybody hates Matrix 3 and they love Harry Potter, but the plots are very similar.
Yeah, well, there's more reason to hate Matrix 3.
Yeah, that's true.
Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2 ended it the best it could, I think.
Yeah, it did a good job, aside from the death of Voldemort.
There's like no satisfying way to end it because like Hermione and Ron getting together. Like, it had to happen, but it's not very satisfying.
Okay, that's one of the big negatives throughout the entire series, is I never bought that Hermione and Ron were gonna get together. It's like you could tell they didn't actually like each other.
Yeah, what did Hermione see in Ron? He was just such a
just some average guy who was just like so average.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's from the male perspective. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. That didn't work. And then Harry falling in love with like what was that? Ron's sister.
Yeah,
that was completely.
What did Harry see in her?
She was just like so randomly there.
She said like one line from like Harry Potter 1 through 6.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden Harry's in love with her. That almost as bad as Hobbit. Not quite bad. Not quite
as bad.
But so yeah, the love stories in that was not so good. And then, but I think the most last ones were the most fun. Like, they had the coolest action, and it got darker and more adult, so it was more fun to watch.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good series after seeing all 8 of them.
Don't really want to watch it again though.
Oh, I'd like to watch the later ones again. Maybe I'd like to watch the later ones again. I would never want to suffer through the Chamber of Secrets again, though. That one was awful.
Is that the second one?
Yeah, and the Goblet of Fire. I thought that one was terrible, too.
That's the one with Twilight guy.
Yeah.
That was okay.
You liked that one?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I didn't like that one.
I don't want to see 1 or 2 again, ever.
Yeah, 1 was not good. 1 was like a kid movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some kids' movies are good, other ones aren't.
I was tired of that one while watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's a great series, so I guess we're getting kind of long. Do you want to wrap up the episode?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention? Have we seen any good movies recently that we haven't talked about? Oh, I watched a foreign film. It was the 2011 winner for Best Foreign Film, and it was called A Separation. And I bought it at Barnes & Noble, and I watched it recently. It was definitely probably the best or second best foreign movie I've ever seen. It's just so good, A Separation. If you haven't heard of it, you should look it up. That's a great movie. I don't know. Maybe we should wrap it up then. What do you say?
I just gotta say, I watched Groundhog Day.
Oh, Groundhog Day?
Yeah, it was so good.
What did you think about that?
Yeah, I love that. I just randomly decided to watch it.
Oh, yeah. Is that on Netflix?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so if you haven't seen Groundhog Day, that one's probably one of the best comedies of all time.
I watched it because I saw Edge of Tomorrow, and it kind of ripped off Groundhog Day. And I was like, oh, I can't believe I've seen Edge of Tomorrow before seeing Groundhog Day.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we watched Singing in the Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, would you say that's the best musical of all time?
Yeah, I haven't seen that many, though.
Yeah, I've only seen 2. I'm just kidding. Yeah, musicals, I usually avoid musicals like the plague, but I'm not biased against musicals, though. I just usually avoid them because they're so bad.
Well, there's not that many.
There's not that many of them. But I hate the idea of you're in the middle of a movie, you're following the plot, the people are acting, and then all of a sudden they burst out into song. It just takes me out of the movie.
Maybe there's so many bad ones because Singing in the Rain was so early and it did it best.
Yeah, that
was so good.
Yeah, Singing in the Rain was a great movie, but I think I like maybe The Sound of Music better.
Oh, I haven't seen that in so long.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing about Singing in the Rain was this, like Singing in the Rain hits, that's a great song. There's a couple other good ones, but then some of the other ones are really bad.
Like, bad? Nah, there's no bad ones.
The ones Make 'Em Laugh or whatever. I thought that scene was awkwardly bad.
Yeah, that wasn't that
I don't
good,
know. But definitely watch Singing in the Rain if you haven't seen it. I watched a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, one of his earliest films, Magnolia. That one was a great movie. So good. You should watch that one if you haven't seen it. Oh, did we ever talk about Mad Max 2? I don't think we have.
I don't know.
I don't think we have. So since last episode, in preparation for Mad Max Fury Road, we got Road Warrior. And we watched it. Mad Max 2 Road Warrior. That one actually may be my 3rd favorite action movie of all time. It really jumped up on my list because all the stunts in it are completely practical, and like there's some mind-blowing driving scenes in it.
Yeah.
And Mel Gibson was awesome in it, and I think it's criminally underrated. It's at 7.6 on IMDb right now. That was great. I would give it like an 8.5. That was
what?
Yeah, I thought it was so good.
IMDb 8.5.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, not.
You're overrating it.
No, it was really good.
It was good, but
it made me want to watch Fury Road that much more.
It was one of the better action movies.
Yeah. Well, so you didn't think it was that great? What'd you give it?
7.6 is good.
What? Come on, that was great.
Yeah, I gave it an 8.
Oh, you gave it an 8?
Yeah.
I'd say if it should be in the top 250. So if at least like 8.1.
No, the top 250. I don't really care about it.
Yeah,
anymore.
whatever. And then we watched Peter Pan. I'd never seen that one, so
Good.
yeah, good one. The Cats and Hook was funny. That was a good movie. We watched that as a family movie, so that was a family movie day. That was pretty good, but
Tinkerbell was kind of annoying.
yeah, Tinkerbell was like, that was not cool. But anyhow, all right, let's wrap it up. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Tan and Talk. And tune in next week for more cutout sections of Han Solo talking at the start.
Chewie, we're home.
Chewie, we're home. Bye.